Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Garrett Horner. This is stage 11 of the 24 Tour de France, brought to you by Ketone 8. It's what the pros like to drink after a stage like stage 11. They're going to need tons of it. So if you need to save 15% on your next order of Ketone 8, make sure you use the code BUTTERFLY in your next order of Ketone 8, and I'll save you 15%. Now let's get into today's stage 11 of the Tour de France. It's 211 kilometers, 6 category climbs coming in the second half of the stage, more or less, and the last 4 are monsters starting under 50 kilometers to go. If you're UAE team members and you got the race leader's yellow jersey, Tadej Pogačar, with a 30-plus second gap over Remco Evenepoel, 115 on Jonas, and 130-plus on Primoz Roglic, I'm thinking maybe this isn't a perfect stage because the last climb is a Category 3 climb at just under 6%. That means if you got to get aggressive, you got to drop everyone on the climbs before, somewhere under 50 kilometers to go, get a gap on them and hold it into the finish and up over that Category 3 climb at just under 6%. But if you're Tadej Pogačar, you like to race aggressive because you got big balls. Remco Evenepoel's got big balls too. They both like to race aggressive, and they've put on a lot of press out there against Jonas Vingegaard, talking about how he's not racing aggressively. And Tadej Pogačar has personally said that he believes tactics are important, but the be-all, end-all is power. So let's see what happens in today's stage 11. As the riders hit kilometer 0, attacks are happening all over the place. EF Education are putting riders in the attack moves left and right with Ben Healy and Richard Carapaz. Visma Bike, super interested in getting a rider up the road because we see Wout van Aert, we see Christophe Laporte, and we even see Bart, the rider that took the place of Sepp Kuss, going in the early breaks there as Visma Bike's trying to get a rider up the road. Why do they want to do that? Well, Jonas Vingegaard, if he gets into trouble, and this break can gain 5-10 minutes early into the stage 11, maybe he's got a teammate up there that can help him out and do a strong pull down one of the descent. So it's a wise move from Visma Bike. From EF Education, I like them putting a rider into the break, but I don't like them trying to create the break, which is what Carapaz and Ben Healy have been trying to do. I think it's a knucklehead move from EF Education. They're slowly, if not fastly, becoming the next Movistar team here in the professional peloton. As EF Education are attacking left and right, we're getting about 75 kilometers into this stage 11, and it's Richard Carapaz going up the road. He's got Vercher with him from Total Energy, the French rider. As those 2 riders are going up the road, they get 4 more riders for company. That puts 6 up there. Then 4 more are coming, and we see Ben Healy's in that group behind, and Julian Bernard from Lidl-Trek. Now, if you're Lidl-Trek, Julian Bernard, and we're already into the second half of this stage, I'm thinking you got much better things to do so that you could save your energy for. If you're EF Education, you got 10 riders in this front group and 2 of them are your climbers. You used too much energy already. I still don't like this move because UAE team members are drilling it in the back with Niels Paulette and Tim Wellens right now, and the gap maximum time only gets up to just north of 2 minutes. With those 2 riders from EF Education in there, if you're not just all in for KOM points, it's kind of a waste of day if you're trying to win the stage and UAE team members are pulling like crazy, but possibly they're interested in KOM points, so they're going up the road, and UAE team members are pulling full gas in the back. Now, as we start getting into about 50 kilometers to go, the peloton is getting crazy nervous. It's going curb to curb. We look up at the group of 10 riders up there in the breakaway as they're starting the 3rd category climb here. This is when it gets interesting because this climb blends into the next climb. It's about 15 kilometers of climbing at 8% average section, so you know it's massively steep, and there's only a small, crazy technical descent before you start the next climb. So you can add these 2 climbs together and call it 15K. So as we see the group of 10 reach the 3rd category climb here in stage 11, they're blowing up all over the place. It's Lezcano, it's Ben Healy, and Richard Carapaz is just off the back there in about 3rd position. The peloton, like I said, they're going curb to curb. It's under 50 kilometers to go. Soudal Quick-Step's at the front, Visma Bike's at the front, and UAE team members are at the front too. Peloton's getting ready to start this climb. It's Wout van Aert flying through the left corner. He's got the brick wall against his left side there. He's going to realize he came in too fast, lift the front end up a little bit, hop up onto the sidewalk, lock the back brake up, and slam it into the guardrail. Once he does, the bike and him both ricochet off that and come back into the street. Bike's flying in the air. Wout van Aert's going down to the concrete on the curb there, and the Bora Hansgrohe riders riding over the ankle there of Wout van Aert. Everyone else missed the action back there and kept their bikes upright. As we see Jan Tratnik from Visma Bike, the teammate of Wout van Aert, well, he looks back and says, there's nothing I can do for the big guy. We're racing for Jonas Vingegaard here. So Jan Tratnik still on the front, driving it in with 4 climbs to go here as we start with about 46 kilometers left in the race. With Jan Tratnik going full gas, all of a sudden, we'll see Visma Lease bike pull off the front. It's time for UAE team members to take over the front because that's Sivakov. With Sivakov driving it on the front, we see Bardet and Garrett Thomas, the first major casualties coming out the back. Roman Bardet's from this area, and he's got a little celebration waiting for him up over the next climb. That's why the cameras are locked on him, while Sivakov is driving it on the front, bringing back multiple riders from the original break of 10. As he's catching those riders, we still got 3 up there going over the top of the KOM. It's Lascano and Ben Healy going over top, and just behind them we got Richard Carapaz, the Ecuadorian rider, going over 3rd. The peloton with Sivakov leading it over the top of the KOM. He's flying. They're hot on the heels of the last 3 breakaway riders up front as Sivakov's dropping down the descent. He's got the peloton strung out like crazy going down the descent. The 2 riders that start the next climb, that's Lascano and that's Ben Healy, but all of a sudden Carapaz is going to come back in the picture and catch back up to those 2 riders in front to make 3 riders. Now the only problem they're having, UAE team members are going too fast. Sivakov blowing things up as he's going full gas. He'll go all the way about 2 kilometers, into this climb. He'll blow. Now it's time for Adam Yates to go to the front. With Adam Yates going full gas, we look at the aerial head picture. Well, all of a sudden we see it's his brother back there. It's Simon Yates. It's a brother-on-brother crime right now, swinging on the back of the group. As Adam Yates is pulling the front of the group, he's got Almeida and Tadej Pogačar locked onto his wheel. Then we start seeing Ayuso, UAE team members, the Spaniards coming out the back. He's getting dropped. He's got Egan Bernal and Jai Hindley along for company back there. And then Adam Yates starts going deeper. Once he does, he's brought back everybody from the original break, as Ben Healy was the last to get caught. Now Adam Yates is flying. He's got it down to about 8 riders. If you don't count Ben Healy's going quickly through this group of 8. Once Ben Healy's getting dropped, we got about 8 guys up there like I'm telling you. Adam Yates is going full gas into about 700 meters to go. Once he reaches 700 meters to go, it's time for Tadej Pogačar to throw in his attack. He goes up the left side. Jonas Vingegaard goes around the right. Primoz Roglic is following just behind on the left. We see Tadej Pogačar's got a gap immediately. Now look at the aerial shot as we see that Primoz Roglic and Jonas Vingegaard are coming together, with Primoz Roglic on the front taking a pull for the Visma Lease bike rider Jonas Vingegaard. What's his form like? Did that stage 4 crash at the Basque Country for both these riders? Is it holding them back? Because right now Tadej Pogačar's got a gap on everyone, and the 2 riders behind him, Roglic and Jonas Vingegaard, got a gap on Remco Evenepoel. Remco Evenepoel's digging hard, but he's got a gap on Carlos Rodriguez and Ciccone. They're getting dropped back there too, but Ciccone's having a fine ride. Normally don't get to see the Lidl-Trek rider in this deep into the last stages of a Tour de France, but he's locked on as Carlos Rodriguez and himself are trying to pull back Remco Evenepoel. Now, up front, what's happening? The Slovenian Tadej Pogačar is looking over his shoulder. He sees he's got a gap. We see Jonas Vingegaard look over his shoulder. He's got a gap on Primoz Roglic. So Jonas Vingegaard's starting to accelerate. I'm sitting on the Chesterfield right now. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. We got about 30 kilometers to go. We're coming up to the top of this KOM. If you can't bring back the Slovenian Tadej Pogačar right now, and your name is Jonas Vingegaard, you're going to be in big time trouble because you won't have any help coming down the descent. If I bring you back into stage 4, going over the Glibier, was this same scenario, right? If you're sitting on the Chesterfield on stage 4, watching the butterfly effect, I told you Jonas Vingegaard had to wait for the group behind Remco Evenepoel, Carlos Rodriguez, and Primoz Roglic. Well, now Jonas Vingegaard's in the exact same predicament. Does he go full gas and drop Primoz Roglic, or does he wait for him? He decides to go full gas. Tadej Pogačar goes over the top of the KOM with a gap on Jonas Vingegaard of about 5 seconds. Primoz Roglic is about 10, 12, 13 seconds behind Tadej Pogačar up front, and then Remco Evenepoel's coming over in 4th position, but he's about 25 seconds behind Tadej Pogačar. So we got 4 guys, 4 of the favorites, the best riders in the professional peloton, all gapped off from each other going over the top of this climb, but there's still two more climbs left in today's stage 11 of the Tour de France. Tadej Pogačar is bombing down the descent. Jonas Vingegaard gets company almost immediately, 27 kilometers to go, as we see Primoz Roglic come back onto the back wheel of Visma Lease bike rider. Remco Evenepoel, I told told you he went over solo too. But as we're dropping down the descent, we see that Tadej Pogačar is flying into the corner, the left turn with 25 kilometers to go, loses the back wheel but keeps the bike upright. After that, he's still going fast down the descent. We start looking further back. Jonas Vingegaard, Primož Roglič are working well together. We look further back to that. Remco Evenepoel's getting caught by Carlos Rodriguez from Ineos with Ciccone on his wheel, and not one but two UAE team members. That's Adam Yates and that's Almeida on the wheel. Those 4 riders caught Remco Evenepoel. Now there's 5. And we see Carlos Rodriguez fly right past the Belgian kid from Soudal Quickstep as he's starting to get a gap. This guy can go downhill. Once he starts climbing a watt or 2 better up the climbs, you're never going to be able to see this guy again with Carlos Rodriguez going full gas on the front. Tadej Pogačar is still solo. He's going in the penultimate climb with about a 35-40 second gap on the 2 chasers behind who are getting caught from Carlos Rodriguez 1K before this penultimate climb starts. As we see the group coming together, it's not 5 now, it's 7 riders chasing Tadej Pogačar, but Jonas Vingegaard, Primož Roglič with those 2 on the front. Jonas is going to start the penultimate climb about 30 seconds behind Tadej Pogačar. So with the Slovenian up front going solo in the race leader's yellow jersey, Jonas Vingegaard's driving the front. Then we start seeing casualties all over the place as Almeida's the first to get dropped. After Almeida, it's Ciccone, Adam Yates, and Carlos Rodriguez coming out. That means 3 riders are chasing 1, but really it's man on man because Jonas Vingegaard's riding the front. He's not getting much help back there. Primož Roglič sitting second, Remco Evenepoel sitting third. That's all that's left to chase Tadej Pogačar, who's still going solo. But the time is starting to creep down as Jonas Vingegaard's drilling it. We see Remco Evenepoel come off the gap with about 2 kilometers into this climb. And then next thing you know, Jonas Vingegaard looks over his shoulder. The other Slovenian, the number 2, Roglič, he's starting to gap off. So Jonas Vingegaard punches it. He's got about 20 seconds to make up on Tadej Pogačar. And the climb is running out. As we start seeing with 500, 400 meters to go, the Slovenian is in sight there for Jonas Vingegaard. As Jonas Vingegaard gives one more big acceleration, he comes up to the back wheel there of Tadej Pogačar in the race leader's yellow jersey. Now Tadej Pogačar can't wait because at the top of this KOM, it's bonus time. That means there's 8 seconds bonus for whoever wins the top of this KOM. Tadej Pogačar punches it is almost immediately, maybe 2 meters after Jonas Vingegaard gets on his wheel. He punches it. He goes first over the top of the KOM, gains 8-second time bonus. Jonas Vingegaard comes over second. Behind, what happened? Remco Evenepoel wrapped up Primož Roglič. Now he's driving it over the top of the KOM here in 3rd place. And they're all dropping down the descent with 2 riders chased by 2 riders. Now at this moment when I'm sitting on the Chesterfield, I'm thinking, okay, Jonas Vingegaard, you work with Tadej Pogačar right now. You're like, Chris, you never have him work. This time you work. You work because you showed you can start to gain some time on Tadej Pogačar coming up the climb. So the Slovenian in the race leader's yellow jersey, his legs must be hurting a little bit. You work, but you soft pedal. You come through, you do your pulls, but you don't do big pulls on the front. You don't do anything to risk that you might get dropped coming up this last category 3 climb that's with 6 kilometers to go. So the 2 riders work well together, each taking a pull coming down the descent. Remco Evenepoel, Primož Roglič are working well with each other. We get into about 10 kilometers to go. There's a tight left turn. As they come out on the wide road there, it's 2, still chasing 2, and the gap's at about 10 seconds. Now, Tadej Pogačar pulling on the front. Jonas Vingegaard's pulling on the front with Tadej Pogačar. They're each taking turns. We go in the back. It looks like Remco Evenepoel is starting to do more of the work as we see him do a little bit of touch there to Primož Roglič to try to convince the Slovenian to come through and start taking a pull as they're under 10 kilometers to go. Up front, we're coming into 6 kilometers to go. It's the last of 6 categorized climbs, 211 kilometers on today's stage. They're coming up to the last of 6, and it's 6K to go. As Jonas Vingegaard's on the front, we're going to see Jonas Vingegaard and Tadej Pogačar work together coming up this climb. Then once we go up to the top of the KOM, it's Jonas Vingegaard going over first, Tadej Pogačar going over second. We got 3 kilometers to go. Now they start a crazy technical descent. I back up the film just a little bit. Remco Evenepoel came across the KOM here in 3rd spot with Primož Roglič on his wheel. Now we go up to the front duel coming down this descent. It's narrow, it's technical, it's twisty, hairpins, nasty, wet, patchy road. And we'll see coming into 1.3 kilometer to go as they start the left turn there, we got Jonas on the front. If I back the film all the way up to the top of the KOM, like I told you already, Jonas was on the front at the last KOM here. He's been on the front all the way coming down the descent. Once they come out onto the wide road with 1 kilometer to go, it's Jonas Vingegaard still on the front. Then the cameras go back and find Primož Roglič as they focus on Primož Roglič. Well, Well, he's crashed his bike. He's picking his bike up through that left turn there. That was so nasty. If I back the film up and show you the 2 liters before that left turn, well, it was all wet and nasty. Now, when they come into that corner, Primož Roglič lost his front wheel, dropped the bike, and then Remco Evenepoel's now chasing solo. The gap was about 50 seconds at the top of that KOM. Now it's down to about 30 seconds as Remco Evenepoel's chasing on his own. The cameras are going back up front. They're coming into just under a K to go. Like I told you, Jonas Vingegaard's already on the front. We come into 500 meters to go. He's still on the front. Guys, he's been on the front from the top of the last climb all the way into 500 meters to go. He's looking back. He's looking back left and right every time he can as he's trying to make sure Tadej Pogačar can't get the jump on him. Then at 250 meters to go, Jonas stands up on his bike, still looking back over his shoulder, hasn't started to sprint. They come through the last final bend. They exit with 150 meters to go. Jonas Vingegaard punches it. At 100 meters to go, Tadej Pogačar punches it. They start pulling even up at about 50 meters to go as their elbows are almost touching. It's going to be a bike throw. Once the 2 riders in front throw their bikes, it's the Visma Lease bike rider Jonas Vingegaard that wins today's stage over Tadej Pogačar to take a 10-second time bonus and gain 4 seconds on Tadej Pogačar here. Now, who came through for third? Well, like I told you, Primož Roglič crashed. So we see that it's Remco Evenepoel coming up about 25 seconds behind the 2 riders in front to round out the podium. Primož Roglič got back up on his bike, and we see him come around that right bend, fade all the way to the left. And if you look at his left lever there, it's all bent in from the crash. Primož Roglič across the line about 55 seconds down. But guess what? They gave everyone the same time because Primož Roglič crashed under the 3K rule. I've never heard of the 3K rule on a 6 climb pass here on stage 11, but they gave Primož Roglič the same time as Remco Evenepoel, so he loses 25 seconds. Now Carlos Rodriguez, Ciccone brought the group in behind at about 1:45. Carlos Rodriguez lost about 5 seconds on those guys to be about 1 minute and 50 seconds down. But we got a 4-way battle here after stage 11 of the Tour de France. Tactically, Tadej Pogačar, well, he said it in yesterday's stage before the stage began, that tactics aren't as important as pure power, and I agreed. It's not as important, but I said it is still very important. Tadej Pogačar better sharpen up his tactics because even in his interview today, he said going so far out probably cost him a little bit of energy, especially when the 2 riders behind are working together. Like I told you in yesterday's video, the only way to make up lack of power is tactics. Jonas Vingegaard and Primož Roglič worked together. That saved some energy. Once we came into the penultimate climb, Jonas Vingegaard's legs started coming better because Tadej Pogačar used a ton of energy, a ton of power going up over the climb and then going down the descent. So he loses today's stage. Jonas Vingegaard only gains 1 second more on the Slovenian Tadej Pogačar, but Remco Evenepoel lost 25 seconds, so it tightens up the top 3 favorites, and Primož Roglič, who I still consider top favorite, we're going to have to go top 4, is still in there. Hopefully the crash didn't cost him any time. But Tadej Pogačar, you better sharpen up your tactics because your power, as you said in your interview, is about level now with Jonas Vingegaard. And you also said in your interview that there shouldn't be any more talk about what kind of fitness that Jonas Vingegaard has because clearly today with his stage win here on stage 11, like Tadej Pogačar said, his fitness is at a high level and basically equal to Tadej Pogačar. So if you're both equal, the only thing you have on your side is tactics, and then after that, a strong team. But if you don't use your team correctly, that doesn't mean anything because power can only do so much if everybody's on the same level. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. This was an amazing stage 11. Jonas Vingegaard, congratulations. Tadej Pogačar still second on the stage, still in the race leader's yellow jersey, and now he's in the KOM jersey too after the end of stage 11. So we got an exciting battle, and the racing has just started here at the Tour de France. Like and subscribe. I'll see you real soon.